Greetings friends, welcome. Today we're looking at adding a flip effect, a 3D flip effect, to our Ultimate Web Components, which I started in a previous episode. I'll put a link to that here. It's basically a web component for the future, so it's using technologies that you shouldn't be using in production today. So we've got, at the moment, we've got in there CSS container queries and CSS shadow parts. The 3D flip here, that's fine. That's covered by most of the browsers, well, all of the browsers. But it's just going to be a nice little addition to the card, I think, going forward. So before I jump in, though, if you find yourself enjoying this video, feel free to click that subscribe below. Change the alert icon to all, and you'll get updates for future videos. Okay, so here's our card over on the right here at the moment. And this image, I want to be able to flip it and have whatever the user provides behind be shown, whether it be another image, or some text or whatever. They'll be able to provide it in the slot. So if we look down here in the code, this is our image. I am going to basically copy that for the back face of the image now. So this will be the back, and we'll call it the flip text, and we'll say details go here just to distinguish it. Alright, so we can see them coming up here. I'm going to wrap our image in one more div, and we'll call that front. So we've got a front and the back of our card, supposedly. And then let's wrap it a couple more times, because other classes we'll need to add on here. So we'll have a div for card, and then we'll also have one more div, and we'll call it flip container, like so. Where's this one? This one goes to there. Okay, it's fine. Alright, right, we need to get these two cards. I've got the image and the details go here. I need them overlapping to make a physical card. So we can use Css Grid for this. Right, and we'll take the card class. So if I come up here and just make it slightly bigger, so we can have .card. Probably even go a little bit bigger again, can I? Just for this bit. What do we want? We want display grid, and then we're going to want grid template areas. And we're going to say overlap, like that. So that's the setup. And then both of our, the front and back of our card, we want to put into the same area of the grid, because then they'll overlap. So we can just say for both of them, grid area, and say overlap. And if we look up here, can't see it very well because of the background, but it is up on there. So we'll just give the back some color. Now this will probably overlay the whole thing. Yeah, okay, but it is there, and the other image is behind it now. Okay, a little bit smaller again. It's nice to be able to see a bit of it. Right, what would be the next thing to do? So this green piece here with details to go is the back of our card, and so if you think of that one here, if we rotate it 180, then it will be facing backwards, and that will give us that feeling of it being a single entity. So I can do a transform on here and say rotate Y, and get it to rotate 180 degrees. So it's still there, but which is fine. But you can see that it's facing the other way now. Essentially, if you're on the other side, you'd be able to read that. It's like looking through a window. But what we can do as well is add something called Backface Visibility, and say hidden, and that means when you've got something that is rotated 180 degrees, it won't show it. So that's kind of constructed this card for us. What now we've got the two pieces, the front and the back. We put them together. We rotated the back. Now we need to be able to rotate the whole thing now to give it a 3D feel. How can we do that? Well, I'm going to need to be able to action it. So I'm going to need a click handler on here to start with. So if we come back down to the card, and if we do the lit element click handler code, so something like this. Yeah, I think that's that. And then I can provide a function for this click, and what we'll do is just invert the card every time someone clicks on it. So we'll just say we can have this flipped variable. So if I come up to my properties up here, and we'll just say flipped there. Now what I can do with this is basically we're going to have a class that's going to rotate the whole thing, and we'll use that variable to determine whether it's applied or not. So the moment our class is here, let's change this to use that variable. Right, so that would be something like this dot flipped. So if we're flipped, then we want to have the flip class, which will do our extra rotate. And we still want to be a card. And if we're not, then we just want to be a card as we are today. Like so. This dot flips, why are you underlined? That's one. Oh, that was pretty helpful. That was pretty good. Thank you, VS Code, or TypeScript. The thank you TypeScript, I think there. I could have. Back in the day, that would have been pretty nasty. Right. Right. So we need to define this the flip class and the card class. Let's do flip. So flip is going to be another transform, and we're going to rotate Y again 180 degrees. What do I know? I've already got a card, sorry. I've already got a card there. So there's a couple of other... what happens at the moment if I click it? It's rotating it, but the one at the card at the back, we're not seeing back appear. I don't know if it's because it's a slot. One thing I will do is, I don't think it is that. It did appear. I've got some other little error in there, I guess. Flip does rotate the whole thing. Why are we not seeing the back appear? Let's put. There's a couple of attacks. While I've tried to work out what I've missed, there's a couple of things we want to do that help with this. The whole 3D part. We need to put a couple of things on here. Transform style, and we need to say preserve 3D. Oh, well, that I didn't know quite what that one did. I know I had to add it, but but that has preserved the 3D aspect. So now when I click, it's flipping it. Well, we're doing the rotate, and we're getting that back. So when I add this next class onto flip container, what I want to say in here is perspective and give it a distance. So that one determines how 3D it looks. The reason we're not seeing anything at the moment is because it's not animated, so it's instantly getting there. So we need to animate it, and I think we can put that on the card. We would say transition, 1 second all, and say ease in out. Now when I click on it, okay, now we get the animation as well, over a second, and so it's flipping it around. So yeah, whether you'd want to put an image on here, you know, so I've got it in a slot, so that at the moment the user's providing this, but I can add another one here for flip text, and so it should now overwrite that, and we should see Smudge the Beagle there. Yeah. So it grabs whatever the user's gonna want to put there. Now, it's probably not gonna be something that you want all the time. Well, it's almost certainly not. So we need to make it a that they can. We'll have this one that it needs to be explicitly enabled. The responsiveness we made it enabled by default, but let's have enable flip, and at the moment we'll say false. Right, and then I would want to use this to somehow, I could just do it in here so that nothing would happen. We would say we don't only do this if flip is enabled, and so clicking on the moment there's nothing, but the user would be able to come in here and say enable flip, and then when I click on it again, now it's enabled. All right, so we'll leave it on because it's pretty cool. I probably want to get this text to come in the middle, do I? So the back, would I simply be able to say display flex? I'm not sure because it's slotted. I don't know. Justify. Will that put it in the middle for me? Yeah, so that puts it down in the middle. That's pretty cool. And we'd want to be able to style this as well. So I'd add a part to it. So I can probably just put that on here and say part equals flip text. And then, so if the user wanted then to change that, they could say part flip text, and again we just do, well, for example here we'd set this to be a bit bigger, 3 rem, and it puts that up. That's way too big. 2 rem. It's still too big. That's better. All right, so I'm going to have to start documenting these as parts of the documentation for this component. But that'll be another video because that's long enough for today. So we've added 3D flip ability to it. It looks pretty cool. Not sure if it's useful, but I like it. Give me a thumbs up if you like that. Thumbs down if not. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.